The years had carved deep lines into his face. The fire of youth was gone, but something greater had taken its place: clarity. Fyodor Dostoevsky, once condemned and broken, now carried within him the conscience of an age. In a small St. Petersburg apartment, he wrote through pain and poverty. The seizures came without warning. His heart faltered, his hands shook. Yet each time he awoke, he whispered, "I saw light." To him, suffering was not a curse, but a revelation. Pain, he said, is the origin of consciousness. And so he wrote, not to escape pain, but to redeem it. Every novel was a confession, every page a prayer. Beauty will save the world, he wrote. Not the beauty of artifice, but the beauty of mercy. The beauty of a heart that forgives. He had lived among prisoners and beggars, gamblers and thieves, and he saw in each a glimmer of the divine. He no longer sought perfection, he sought compassion. Anna was his anchor. When creditors banged at the door, she faced them. When his health collapsed, she kept him writing. In her diary, she called him, "My poor genius." He would gaze into the candle flame for hours, as though the answers burned inside it. To her he said, "Everything I have written is but one long confession." Notes from underground, crime and punishment, the idiot, the demons, all were preludes. But in his final years, he began his testament. The Brothers Karamazov. He poured into it everything he had seen, felt, and believed. 3 brothers, Ivan, Dmitri, and Alyosha. Ivan, the intellect, brilliant and bitter, who dares to put God on trial. Dmitri, the passion, reckless and guilty, who finds redemption in suffering. Alyosha, the faith, luminous and gentle, who loves without judgment. They are fragments of one soul, his own. Reason, desire, and faith locked in eternal conflict. Within the novel lives the legend of the Grand Inquisitor, the priest who rebukes Christ for granting man freedom. "Why did you give them choice?" he cries. "They cannot bear it." Dostoevsky's answer was daring. Freedom is unbearable, yet sacred. Without it, love cannot exist. Without suffering, there is no redemption. For him, every act of love was a small resurrection. By now, Dostoevsky was revered and feared. His words unsettled the powerful, comforted the broken. He warned that when man replaces God with ideology, he becomes his own tyrant. If God does not exist, he wrote, then everything is permitted. He foresaw the coming storms, revolutions built on reason without mercy. He was not merely a novelist. He was a prophet, crying out against the emptiness of progress without compassion. In June 1880, the city gathered for the unveiling of Pushkin's statue. Dostoevsky, frail and trembling, stepped before the crowd. His voice cracked, but his words ignited the hall. "To be Russian," he said, "is to be universal, to feel every sorrow of mankind as one's own." The people wept. For a moment, faith and reason embraced. He had become the conscience of his nation. That night he returned home exhausted, but serene. He opened his Bible to the parable of the prodigal son. "For this, my son was dead, and is alive again." The next day, his illness struck. Anna held his hand as he whispered a prayer and smiled faintly. On February 9th, 1881, his heart ceased. The candle flickered once and went out. The city mourned as one. Thousands followed his coffin through the snow to the Alexander Nevsky Monastery. On his tomb was carved the verse he loved. "Except a grain of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit." And so it was. His words outlived empires, censors, wars, and ideologies. In every age, readers find themselves in his pages, the murderer seeking grace, the skeptic searching for faith, the dreamer lost in guilt and hope. Dostoevsky did not preach holiness. He revealed humanity. He taught that man's greatness lies not in reason, but in compassion. That forgiveness is the highest form of intelligence. He began as a prisoner of logic and ended as a prophet of love. He showed that faith is not certainty, it is courage. That salvation is not perfection, it is empathy. To love someone as yourself, he wrote, means to see God in them. For Dostoevsky, the divine was not in the heavens, but in the human heart that still chooses kindness. More than a century has passed, yet his voice still speaks to every soul that doubts, suffers, or hopes. He reminds us that man is not an equation, not a machine of thought, but a mystery, a creature of light and shadow, forever torn, forever redeemable. This was part 3, the prophet of the human soul. From the depths of the underground to the light of grace, Dostoevsky's journey is not only the story of a writer, it is the story of us all.